Rumors have been spreading once again about that Apple Watch 2, and I wanted to revisit a topic I discussed way back when because I think we might be discussing it again in the near future because we're talking about the smartwatch and how it's going to be changing in the upcoming years. So here's the big question: should smartwatches be independent from smartphones? Most people out there would say yes. If you see the Samsung smartwatches, those stupid things, they've been trying to move away from being dependent on the smartphone and work as their own standalone product. That's kind of what Android Wear is built on, and it seems like non-Apple Watch smartwatch developers, which are not doing well right now. Remember the Moto 360? Yeah, you don't hear about it much anymore. They're going to be trying to make it its own thing and less of an accessory to the smartphone. I've owned this Apple Watch for a long time, and I'm going to be trying to convince you that that's a bad idea. Hear me out. I think all those companies for assuming it can be its own thing are wrong. I think a lot of people are wrong. Just watch Refried Friday. If you want the smartwatch to be independent from the smartphone, I'm going to have to assume you're saying you want it to replace the smartphone. That's really the only reason you would want it to be its own thing. Almost everyone has a smartphone in their pocket with them all the time now, every day. And if you're doing that and you want the smartwatch to be independent, I gotta assume you're saying move all the things the phone can do on my wrist. That's not gonna happen. A lot of people thought the Apple Watch wasn't a great product because it was tethered to the iPhone, you needed it, and it couldn't do all the things the iPhone could do. And a lot of people are not buying this generation Apple Watch because they're saying, oh, they'll add those features that the iPhone can do in the next generation Apple Watch. Now listen, no matter how good the specs get on this thing, there are some things you will never be able to do. First, having smartwatch means saying goodbye to the keyboard. You can't text people without dictation, talking to it, and you know what? That's just never gonna happen. People like to keep their texts private. It's just culturally not really acceptable for people to be talking to their watches all day, especially if you're gonna have an ongoing conversation with someone over text, which is very common these days. I do it with tons of people, and you don't want everyone around you knowing exactly what you're typing. We haven't even got to the point where we trust dictation to understand everything we're putting to text. Emojis, are you going to be able to dictate that? And if it's independent and you want to connect it to Wi-Fi, you're going to have to speak in the password. Everyone around you is going to know what the password is, and if it's something long and complicated, you can't just read off of the X24830OIL. Keyboard should stick around. Second, with a smartwatch, you are limited by the screen size as well as only being able to use it with one finger at a time. You can't even use two hands on it because look, it's got my arm. I can't reach there. These two disadvantages are here to stay no matter how fast the processor is, no matter how much RAM they put in it, or whatever the resolution of the screen is. You can only use one finger on it at a time, which totally drops the potential amount of things you can do with it compared to a smartphone. So first of all, there's little to no gaming, and there's definitely no good gaming. With a smartphone, you can steer and have a variety of controls going on the screen. You can have portrait mode games and landscape games. There's no real games you can play on a watch that anyone would really want to play. There's just simple little things that you can brag about being, hey, it's on a watch, but nothing with any story or any kind of gameplay that's worth trying. And secondly, videos. With a phone, you can browse videos with a keyboard. Once again, we need that keyboard. And if you watch videos on your watch, you look freaking stupid. And with a watch, you can't, prop it up and have several people look at it. It's on your arm. You have to leave it there and watch it like this. Watch your watch. Jokes. What? It's late again. Sorry. I'm telling you, if you're watching videos, this is uncomfortable and the speaker on it is embarrassing, and that's just because of size. It's not because it could be done better. And if a smartphone is out there, just use that. That's so much better. So why would you want to just have the watch and not the phone? And third, you cannot take good pictures with a smartwatch. Even if they did add a camera, which they should not, there's no good angle you could pull off with a watch. If you put the camera facing towards our face, it's always going to be close and looking up at us, showing off all the boogers going on up here. Unless you do something weird like this, and that's not comfortable, you can't do it for very long. So selfies aren't great, because a smartphone, you can angle it much better and see yourself much better. And if they put it on the side or something, so you could take pictures like this, now I can't see what the picture looks like because the screen is not visible by my eyes. So what's the point in this? This is just not an accurate or effective way of taking photos compared to holding a smartphone. For selfies, taking pictures of other people, the smartphone's the way to go. It beats it in every way. No matter what camera they put on a watch, it will always be inferior to a smartphone's camera because a smartphone camera has more space to work with. They can expand. They can have a sensor that's larger. They don't have to compact it into this amount of space. And when you take those pictures, you can view them on a decent display with a smartphone. And you can't look at pictures well on here. You shouldn't. They make it an option. There's the Instagram app. There's the Photos app. I don't know who's doing that. If you have a phone, look at pictures on there. They look so much better. I don't care if this has a 4K display. It's tiny. It won't look right. Now, these three things, keyboard, screen size, and a camera, are basic things you do on a phone. I'm not even counting all the creative and innovative things app developers features let you do on a smartphone that you could never do on here. What they did with the first generation Apple Watch was really everything a smartwatch could essentially be good at. With something wrapped around you all day, activity tracking is a must, and they did that. It's awesome. I've stayed much more active. It tells me when to get up, when to move around, and it's made me a lot healthier, not gonna lie. It's a great activity tracker. Smartwatches, all of them ought to do that. And also, notification management has been drastically improved when I bought this. I know when to take the phone out and when not to take the phone out. And if you're driving, you can reply and not let your eyes look away from the wheel. It's just such a great accessory to the smartphone, and it should stay that way, because this, as its own independent product, could not do much at all. It's for glancing at things, not for prolonged use. And if you think the battery is bad and that's what they should improve on, you're just wrong. Simply wrong. In my experience, it lasts me a day and a half to 2 days, and that's plenty of time, because listen, we humans don't have a battery life that good. Basically, we need 6 to 8 hours of sleep for every 18 hours we're awake. If you're me, 22 hours, you're awake. So while you're sleeping for those 6 to 8 hours, or for me, 2 hours, I'm okay. Let this little guy charge. It only takes the Apple Watch 2 hours to charge from 0 to 100%. And you use it as a nightstand while it's doing that, so you're still getting use out of it. And you're getting like 30 hours of use on a single charge. So if you're hearing bad things about the battery, don't listen. It's not true. It's fine. You don't need to use it when you're sleeping, so let it charge when you're sleeping. And then when you get up, it's always fine. Now, this is one of the reasons I'm mildly worried about the Apple Watch 2. I don't really think there's just some kind of huge, major upgrade they can make with it. I think they covered everything it can possibly do in the first generation, and now anything they add in the Apple Watch 2 is just kind of gonna be a tiny add-on that I doubt would be a big enough reason for me to upgrade. But I'm an Apple sheep, you know, I'm gonna buy it no matter what, so okay. I hope they think of something creative for the next one, and if they do, I can't wait to talk about it with you guys. Am I wrong? Am I right? I'm right, come on. But if you think I'm wrong, comment in the comments below, and you'll probably be featured on Refried Friday. This is your Apple sheep here, and I will see you in the next one.